Finally, a solution to loose steering boxes. Sponsored by Roadless gear, because there's a fine line between hobby and mental illness. And TRE 4x4 BC.
Welcome back to Fabin Adventures.
So check this out, guys. Roadless Gear in Montana is selling a full rebuild kit for your Suzuki Samurai steering box. Not right-hand drive, not reconditioned. This is a left-hand drive kit.
We're going to put a link in the description below so that way you guys can get your kits. So let's see what comes actually in the kit.
So it looks like you've got a new worm shaft, a new sector shaft, new gasket, new bearings, and seals for the entire steering box. So it looks like the only thing you're going to need is the old steering box and that top cover with the adjusting screw.
So isn't Roadless Gear like where you got a lot of the stuff for the Sammy?
Yeah, I mean 90% of my Samurai build, especially in the first year, came from Roadless Gear. Like I got transfer case gears, I got the transmission rebuild kit, I got the lift through Roadless Gear, but it's a trail tough lift. I got a ton of stuff.
The exhaust
kit I got from it. The windshield frame. The windshield frame was really rotted out on the Samurai, and I got actually a convertible windshield frame, and I cut it up, chopped it up, cut the old windshield frame out of the Samurai, welded it in. I got a ton of stuff. It was a truck box load of parts and boxes and whatnot that I got from them on the first shipment.
That just shows though the service.
Yeah, I mean,
the quality of the parts.
Everything I ordered was the right part.
Yeah.
It came on time, you know, and I've been using them ever since. So for the last 3 years, I've been buying little parts off of them. This, you know, the metal door handle, window cranks, the metal door handles, and now this part. And this, to me, it looks like a brand new part, not reconditioned, no nothing. It looks like 100% brand new. I can't wait to get this kit into the old Samurai and get her tightened up. The old Samurai steering box here has got some play. I mean, you can't see it on the video, but there's some play in there. And I took my gauge and I put it on here and how much, you're supposed to have 5 to 7 pounds on this. And look at this, I can turn with my fingers. So there's quite a bit of play. And I think lots of guys say you can just tighten up this screw on here, but if you don't know what you're doing, you can actually get it too tight and make it even worse than it is being too loose. So
this kit with this housing and this screw here and this plate is what you would need. So they need to keep this and this plate and pin.
Yeah, all you need is this housing to keep and this plate here with your adjuster screw. Right. Everything else besides your pitman arm, the worm shaft and the sector shaft, the bearings, the seals, everything gets thrown out and you have all brand new parts here.
So no excuse now to not have power steering.
Ooh, I can't wait to have the steering even tighter. And the power steering is awesome. I did a video on the power steering. You can check out the link up here. And there's been lots of guys, I've been looking on the groups and lots of guys are kind of on the fence of doing the power steering because they say that extra torque from the power steering is just going to wear out your steering box sooner. And those guys, those same guys are saying that you can't get new steering boxes. They don't make them. They don't make rebuild kits until now.
So don't forget to get your Roadless Gear steering box kits from the link in the description below.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into a ton of detail on this video on this kit because there's not another video out there or information. So this is the one and only first of its kind video.
Get to work.
All right, let's peel this apart. Kind of doing a no-no here using a shiny socket on an impact, but that's all I got. Screw this adjuster screw in here kind of backwards to get this plate off. There we go. That plate off. It looks like the adjuster screw would just come out the side. Just like that. So down in here, you might not be able to see it, but there's another little bearing, and we'll just grab him with the hook, and he just goes like that. So now we just have to knock the seal out of this side, the seal out of the cover here, and we're ready to put her back together. Alright, now that we got her all cleaned out, we're going to tap the new seal in. New seal's in. Now we'll tap the new seal in this cover. Alright, new seal's in there. And then this has an O-ring. We just want to pop the old O-ring out.
And don't forget to put the new O-ring on.
Now we just take one of these new bearings and we drop him down right inside in the cup. You can see right down in there where the old bearing sits. Now we'll just coat this shaft with a little bit of gear oil. I got some nice synthetic Lucas here. These spots on the shaft here, they ride on a bushing, so you want to have them, make sure you have them lubed up, and it just slides right in there. Make sure you have the gear facing this way, the sector gear. Then we make sure we slide this bearing on just like this. You can see it's kind of tapered this side, that goes to the top of the gear like that. And we're going to put some gear lube on here also. We'll drop some gear lube in on that bearing down there where this stub sits. Now when you're looking in there, you can see this tooth on the worm is into that groove on the sector, and then when you turn, which would be like turning your steering wheel, you can see the gears mesh, and the last gear on the worm meshes into the last groove on the sector. And you should be smiling. Just like that. Now we'll just make sure we get some gear lube on this bearing. And a little lube on this seal. Now we'll just double check to make sure our gears are meshing in the proper place, which they are. And now it's just a matter of putting the cover back on. Now we just slide the adjuster screw into the old slot here. Just like that. Now we're just going to fill it with oil. I got this 75/90 synthetic, and the book calls for 90 weight, but all I have is this 75/90. I'm sure it'll be fine. And it was filled right to the top of the gears, so that's where we're going to refill it to. We'll just make sure everything turns the way it should. And the new gasket goes on. And then the cover. Put your bolts back in. Just make sure you're keeping this set screw loose when you're dropping the cap down. That way you know you're not putting any undue pressure on that sector shaft. And now it's down to just setting the pressure on here. So you're going to end up using a fishing scale to check this tension, and I happen to keep my old rubber rag joint, and this is how I'm going to do it. And it should take about 3.5 to 5 3/4 pounds to make this thing start to turn. That's what the Samurai manual says, and that's what we're going to shoot for. So let's see what it takes right now to make it turn. About a pound. So we need to put more tension on it. And the way you put more tension on it is just turn this screw and keep checking it from the halfway position. It's about 1.5 pounds. About 2 pounds. Okay, so here we go. Lots of fiddling later, turning the adjuster screw back and forth and turning this thing round and round. But you want a starting turn of like 3.5, and that's about where we are. And then they say on the full revolution, no more than 7 pounds. And we're just short of the 7 pounds.
And then we'll just tighten down the lock nut here.
With the right wrench. And then we'll double check it one more time. That looks good that way. I'd say we're good. Pretty simple job. Pretty simple job. She's ready to go back in the Zook. So there we go. The old Samurai steering box is done. Back in the Samurai, nice and tight again. Can't wait to take the old Samurai out wheeling and just see how much tighter that steering is going to be. I think it's going to be awesome. So if you guys like this sort of content, go ahead, subscribe, share, like these videos. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the bell to be notified. Leave a comment down below. It really helps the channel out. And we'll catch you guys next Friday.
Thanks for watching Fab & Adventures.
Finally, a solution to a loose box. Is your Samurai hard to control?
Or does it wander from ditch to ditch? Or make you want to go into town and trade it in on a shiny new Jeep?
Maybe your steering wheel is so loose it reminds you of an old girlfriend. Finally, a solution to a loose box. Finally, a solution to a loose box. Is your Samurai hard to control?
Does it wander from ditch to ditch? Or make you want to go into town and trade it in on a nice shiny new Jeep?
Maybe your Samurai steering wheel is so loose it reminds you of an old girlfriend.
But no excuse now to not have power steering.
Ooh, I can't wait to have the steering even tighter. I mean, about